Hey YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, coming at you with a brand new Funko review, a full breakdown video, if you will, for this guy right here. Woo! We finally got my hands on him. I talked about him on a recent stream. That's right, it's the Funko Wondercon 2023 shared exclusive, the GameStop version of the Gelatinous Cube. Don't get this confused with the con version, which was a glow-in-the-dark variation with a specific con sticker. That's not this pop. You can only get that one at the convention or through your eBays, your Amazons. That's the only way you could have gotten that specific pop. This one, I got my hands on him at GameStop. Price point was about $15 US. No one's really done a full review of this guy. I've seen a few shorts. I've done a short myself. You can find it on my channel. But no one's done a full, in-depth breakdown of this pop. I hope you do enjoy this content. Remember to smash that like button. I want to get this to the top of the YouTube search engines so that anyone looking for this particular version of the WonderCon pop can find it. And also, don't get this confused with the green version, which is the 2020 Summer Convention version, part of the Emerald City Comic Con. Don't get those confused. I'll talk more about the green one when we go into a breakdown portion of this video. If you've never watched any of my videos before, I do a full breakdown, as I mentioned, of a particular pop. I'll look at the packaging, the paint, the sculpt, the design, and come back to the end of the video and ask the biggest question to the audience: should you buy this pop? Should you spend the $15 to buy this pop for yourself? So that being said, guys, let's go to the breakdown segment at my table. Alright guys, we're in a breakdown segment looking at the Funko Wondercon 2023 Dungeons & Dragons Gelatinous Cube exclusive pop you can only get at GameStop. Again, price point is about $15 US. And the very first thing we do in a breakdown segment, we look at the packaging and presentation. And this is a really cool looking pop. I'm really excited to get another Gelatinous Cube added to my collection. But I want to talk about the parts of the particular packaging. Let's get into it right now. We have, of course, the Pop Games, which was very similar to the green one. Again, we'll talk about the green one shortly. The Dungeons & Dragons logo. Pop number 914. Great window box design. You can see the Gelatinous Cube on the inside. Hopefully the light really gives it justice. It is sort of translucent. It'll make a lot more sense when we get them out of packaging. The all-important WonderCon sticker, you can see that right there. This is not the con version. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it doesn't have the little glow-in-the-dark sticker, and it doesn't have the convention exclusive sticker as well. This you can only get at, let's say, GameStop already. Third-party sellers, your Amazons, your eBays, those sort of stores, maybe even Big Bad Toy Store, you could have gotten it as well. Over here we have another shot of the Gelatinous Cube. Over here, what looks like we take them out of packaging. Over here it does say Gelatinous Cube. And the back of the packaging showcases all the pops that are available in that particular wave. Now I want to show you a sense of scale of this packaging. I did that when I did the green review, the 2020 version of the Summer Con one, as well for that particular Gelatinous Cube. I want to bring in Warduke, which is another Dungeons & Dragons pop. So I want to give you a sense of scale and depth. The real takeaway here, you can't really tell from this side shot, but you can tell from the top. Look how big the packaging is if you compare the two. This is your typical Funko box right here. This one is much, much bigger. So let me now grab, I want to take him out of the shot. Let me bring in the green one. This is the one that everyone knows about, which is the green, this is the Summer Convention version of the pop as well. Let's put them around on a turntable so you can see what they look like side by side. This is very, very similar in design and deco. It's not really a paint variant per se. They made some stylistic changes between the green one and the blue one. They are a little bit different when you look at them side by side. Yes, the skeleton that's inside the pop itself is very similar, but the gear and the color and the texture looks completely different. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing this specific review is because the new Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie comes out at the end of March. As far as the recording of this video, it's near the end of March. This guy here has a very prominent role. The blue one has a prominent role in that particular movie. I'm surprised they didn't do like an Honor Among Thieves things for this specific pop, because this blue one that you see here is inside the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie. But I do like how they made this blue one here. Again, it's not the green one. Don't get this one confused. This came out in 2020. This is the brand new one here. The WonderCon one is 2023. So those are both side by side. Let's get the blue guy here out of packaging and continue the breakdown segment. Alright guys, continue the breakdown segment. We got our Dungeons & Dragons Funko Wondercon 2023 Gelatinous Cube out of packaging. Next thing we do, take a pop out of packaging. We look at the paint, design, and sculpt, and this looks really, really cool. It's completely different than the green Gelatinous Cube. I'll talk more about that shortly. Let's go into a breakdown and really focus on that sculpt. I love that little head sculpt. You can see the skeleton sort of just sitting inside the Gelatinous Cube. His hand is extended out. You see his hand like grasping to try to get out of the Gelatinous Cube, but it just can't do it. The body's been deteriorated. You can see the torso inside the cube. He has no legs, but if you spin the pop around the back, you can see probably where the legs right here and here on the back of the pop. So I do like that attention to detail. It looks really, really cool. There are 2 arrows sticking inside the pop. One's through the top. You can see it right there. It's actually through the top of the pop itself, but it's not in the head of the skull itself. It's like it kind of grazed the skull. The other arrow is over here, which is actually embedded in the, I guess you call it either the arm, probably the arm of the skeleton, which looks really good as well. Again, you can tell there's a skeleton inside the pop. It's not really hard to tell that. I do like that. Attention to detail looks really good. One thing that kind of took away between this and the green one is there's not as much texture on this blue one as there was on the green one, and this gives me the feeling maybe this is more of a, like, as gelatinous cubes are in Dungeons & Dragons, they're really supposed to be transparent or light in color. You really don't know you're inside a gelatinous cube until really you're inside a gelatinous cube. They're made to really be camouflaged or hard to notice in a hallway. Most gelatinous cubes, to give you a sense of scale in the game Dungeons & Dragons, are usually a 10-foot cube, meaning it's 10 by 10 by 10. That's how big one of these really would be in the game itself, just to give you a sense of scale of how big this pop really should be. But I like everything about it. One thing I didn't talk about, if you notice there, you can see his armor he's wearing right there, his chest. I didn't talk about that. You can see the armor. It's still sort of intact, but you can see this grayish black color armor. Now let's bring in its kind of cousin, which is the green one here. Also, that this is, as I mentioned before, the normal version of the gelatinous cube for WonderCon. It's not the con version, which is basically a glow-in-the-dark variant of this pop. Now, one thing to go back to this green one here, they look different. Think of it as sort of a variant. They made this one first, the green one, then they made the blue one. But they are 2 completely different gelatinous cubes. I like that. I like the variety. To help me that Funko switched it up, made it a little bit different. Again, you can see even on the green one, there's more kind of like ripples in the green one than there are for the blue one. I do like that. They look like 2 specifically different gelatinous cubes. I like the attention to detail, and the deco, it looks really, really good. I think Funko did a really, really good job there to showcase there are 2 specifically different things, but they are very similar in design and scope. Let's bring it around on a turntable, spin it 360, and kind of answer that really important question at the end of this video as final thoughts would be, should you buy this blue gelatinous cube? If you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, I would say yes, these are good kind of analogs to what a gelatinous cube would look like. Yes, they are basically just blocks of vinyl or plastic. I get that. But it really, again, is a throwback nostalgia, at least to me, of the gelatinous cubes where I fought when I played Dungeons & Dragons so many years ago. I think this is absolutely a buy. Specifically, if you would have bought the green one here, then you should be all in to buy the blue one. Again, they are different, but very similar in design. One thing about this guy, the green one, he's sort of floating in the gelatinous cube because there's 2 basically posts that are holding him in place. This one, the legs kind of just buckled underneath him, as again you can see it by the back of the pop itself, and he's sticking right through the skeleton. And talk about the bottom. There's a post kind of here, how he's basically placed in it. And one thing to really take away from this pop, I love that hand. I didn't do that, but you can see from the side shot, his hand is coming out at you. He's grasping at you. Kind of spooked the audience right there. So I do think this is a buy, in my personal opinion. Again, if you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, if you got the first green one here, I think absolutely you should get the blue one. Now, just kind of a tad bit piece of information. Will it be as valuable as this one? I know the con version of this guy here is going from about $120 to about $150. I've seen the price being varied to that sort of range. The standard version, this guy that you see right here in front of you, the blue one, this guy right here, on the secondary market, if you don't go to your GameStops or buy it through, let's say, Funkos.com's website, you could probably get him, I would say, between $30 and $40 US. Anything more is too much money. I would hold off because the price is going to drop radically on eBay. So just wait a couple weeks if you're waiting for the price to kind of just teeter off and basically kind of go flat. I would wait a few weeks, but go to your local GameStop. Again, I got mine here on release day for about $15 US. And I do hope you like this video review. Again, a Funko Pop number 914. Again, it's a GameStop exclusive for WonderCon 2023. Remember to smash that like button on the page. Click that all-important subscribe button. When you subscribe, click the bell icon to notify latest videos. Of course, last but not least, you can windows here and here to watch more content. Take care, guys. See you next video. And bye-bye.